Hello and welcome. I'm a hotel AI expert with deep experience in modern hospitality, and it's my pleasure to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. We're here to support your professional growth in this amazing industry. Today, we're diving into a really crucial topic: how storytelling can transform a great hotel into a legendary one. So, let's start with a big question. In a world where every luxury hotel seems to have the same premium amenities, the beautiful rooms, the fine dining, the incredible spas, what is it that actually sets one apart? How do you create something that people remember for years to come when all the physical stuff starts to feel, well, kind of the same? All right, here's how we're going to tackle that. First, we'll look at the limits of just relying on physical luxury. Then we'll introduce storytelling as a powerful strategy. We'll break down exactly how to build a great story using 4 key pillars, talk about bringing it to life, and finally, see how this all leads to transforming the entire guest experience. Okay, so let's get into the core problem here. In the luxury space, excellence is the baseline, right? It's just expected. The real danger is what we call commoditization, where your property, no matter how beautiful, just becomes another option on a long list. Things like the square footage of a room or the hotel's location, they definitely matter. But that doesn't explain why one hotel stay sticks with you for the rest of your life, while another one fades from memory almost immediately. The secret ingredient? It's that emotional connection. That's the thing that truly lasts. So, how do we create that connection? This brings us to the solution. We need to start thinking about storytelling not as some fluffy marketing add-on, but as a core strategic differentiator. It's a fundamental part of sales and operations that can truly make you stand out. And what do we really mean by brand storytelling? Well, it's about going deeper than the surface. It's communicating your property's why, its soul, its values, its purpose. It's how you stop just selling a room and start inviting a guest into a much more meaningful relationship. This slide lays it out perfectly. The old way, the transactional approach, is all about features and price. The goal is simple: sell a room. The guest is just a consumer. But the narrative approach flips all of that. The focus shifts to emotion and experience. The goal isn't to sell something, but to invite someone into a story. And suddenly, that guest is no longer a consumer, they're a participant. Now, I know story can feel a little abstract, so let's make it really concrete. We're going to break it down into 4 solid, foundational pillars you can use to build a compelling brand story for any property, whether it's centuries old or brand new. Our first pillar is heritage, and for historic properties, this is just pure gold. Think about it. When you stay at a place where famous artists or world leaders once stayed, you're not just in a nice room, you're connecting to the past. You become part of that ongoing legacy, and that's an incredibly powerful feeling. But what if your hotel is brand new? Does that mean you don't have a story? No way. That's where our second pillar, vision, comes in. This is all about the why behind the creation. What was the big idea behind that innovative architecture? What's the philosophy driving your commitment to sustainability? It's the story of intention and creativity. Pillar number 3 is craftsmanship. This is all about celebrating the incredible human skill that goes into creating luxury. When you tell the story of the local artisans who wove the textiles, or the chef who grew up on a nearby farm, you remind guests that true luxury isn't mass-produced. It's crafted with passion and dedication. And that seriously enhances the value of their experience. And our fourth pillar, purpose. This one is more important now than ever before. Modern luxury travelers, they want to align with brands that share their values. So whether your purpose is championing sustainability, supporting the local community, or preserving culture, sharing that why creates a bond that goes way beyond a simple transaction. Okay, so we've used our pillars to build a fantastic story. But here's the thing. A story that only exists in a marketing brochure is completely worthless. Now we have to talk about the most crucial part: how you make that story real, how you live it every single day in your operations. And that brings us to the absolute number 1 rule: authenticity. You have to mean it. Your guests, especially in the luxury market, are incredibly perceptive. They can smell a fake story a mile away. And if what you promise doesn't match what they experience, you don't just disappoint them, you break their trust. And trust is so hard to earn back. So what does an authentic story actually look like? Well, it's not some script you hand out. It has to grow naturally from how you actually operate. It needs to be embodied by every single person on your team, from the general manager to the housekeeper. It has to be consistent from your website to your front desk. It's about being sincere and making sure the guest's expectation aligns perfectly with their experience. As future leaders, remember this. Your team members are your most powerful storytellers, period. So first, you have to immerse them in the story so they believe it. Then you train them not to recite lines, but to have natural, genuine conversations. You empower them to personalize that story for each guest. And finally, you celebrate them when they get it right. And remember, this story has to be told everywhere, and it has to be the same story. Look at this chart. It's in your sales pitches, your PR, and of course, the on-property experience itself. But notice how big that digital slice is. For many guests, their first encounter with your story will be on your website or social media. That first impression has to be perfect. So let's bring this all home. When you get this right, when you build an authentic story and you truly live it through your team and your operations, you achieve something pretty profound. You actually move beyond selling a service. The business results are clear. A great story gives you powerful brand differentiation. It makes you unique. It builds incredible guest loyalty, turning one-time visitors into lifelong fans. And it massively increases the perceived value of what you offer, which, of course, supports a strong pricing strategy. Really, the bottom line is this. When storytelling is done right, a guest doesn't just settle their bill and walk out the door. They leave with something more. They leave feeling like they've become a small part of your hotel's unique history. They take your story with them. And so that brings me to a final question for all of you. As you prepare to become the next generation of leaders in this industry, as you go out and build and manage these amazing properties, what story are you going to tell?